Yesterday, I was walking a colleague through this workflow, and I thought you'd find it useful as a way of seeing how AI can really develop your thinking by acting as a coach rather than just a direct report that you get to do work for you. So, this is a book called Traction, and it's a fantastic book for anyone that's in a startup situation. It helps you explore different channels and how you can start getting that 0 to 1 growth going in your organization. And I wanted to run an exercise for my own business, Kowalah, to help us to explore different channels that can help us to accelerate that product market fit. Now, let me dive over to Claude. As you'll have seen in previous videos, I use Claude for a number of different roles in the organization. So I have a Kowalah Chief Marketing Officer project in Claude, and this is where I come to for all of my questions about marketing, strategy, positioning, and so on. Within this project, I've got specific instructions about Kowalah being about this project being Kowalah's CMO to guide me, the founder, and the process that we go through. And then it is also loaded up with details about our persona, a number of great templates from Emily Kramer's Market One website and newsletter, and also information about Kowalah, our personas, our users, our strategy, and so on. So this project knows as much about Kowalah and our positioning and our marketing strategy as I do. So here we wanted to run this Traction Bullseye workshop. So I'll just show you the flow that we went through. So let me scroll right up to the top of this chat. Before I do that, let me just explain the bullseye for you and what we're going to be doing. So this is the bullseye, and there are 19 different channels that you could potentially use for driving marketing pipeline. And some of these are appropriate for your business, some of them are not. But just as some examples, offline ads, things like billboards, things out in the real world, customer referrals, speaking engagements, content marketing, unconventional PR, if I'm going to go and abseil down a tall building. And the premise of the bullseye is that naturally we gravitate towards channels that we've seen success with before, or that we know our competitors are doing well with. And so we might think, everyone's doing content marketing, we should definitely just write loads of content. But maybe we're not thinking about unconventional PR as an example. And so the goal with the Traction Bullseye is to look at each one of these. And if this was the only channel that we could use, what would we do in order to be able to test that out? Having done that, we then find which will be the top 3 that we want to run a short-term test to test our hypothesis. And out of that, we'll uncover one channel that is working and that we can really focus our attention on. So the exercise of the workshop is to go through each one of these in turn and to ask, if this was our only channel, how might we go about it? So here we are in our chat. Hey, it's Matilda and Charlie here. Today we're going through the Traction Bullseye framework from the book by Gabriel Weinberg to assess the best channels for us to use to get our early customers for Kowalah. I've uploaded the possible channels, so I put in a PDF with an explanation of all the channels here, and would like your help to go through them in order to answer the question, if this channel was the only channel that we could use to drive traction, how might we do it? Our goal is to uncover some non-obvious ideas that we might normally overlook. There are 19 channels, so please let's go in blocks of 5 at a time. Do you have any questions before we start? So a couple of things in this prompt. Number 1, we've given a lot of context. Not only have we said the book and who wrote it, but I've got 3 or 4 slides here that explain exactly. So there's basically these slides here. These are the different channels, and this is what they mean. So that Claude does not have to make up what these channels are or assume. We provided it with that context. Next up, what's our ask here? We're looking for some non-obvious ideas. Of course, there's going to be, why don't you set up a blog and start talking about the proposition that Kowalah's got? But we're looking for non-obvious ideas. we want to go in blocks of 5. Let's not try and do this thing all in one go and suddenly we get some vague answers. Let's go step by step. And then this is also one of my favorite questions at the start of any of these types of prompts. Do you have any questions before we start? Just as you would if you were passing this task off to a human marketing analyst. Are you clear on the task? Have you got anything that you'd like some help with? Great to meet you, Matilda and Charlie. I'm excited to help you explore these marketing channels. This is a smart approach. Thank you very much. Before we start, I've got a couple of clarifying questions because we've given Claude permission. Are there any channels that you've already tried or have initial hypotheses about that might work particularly well for your audience of CIOs and IT buying teams? So let me just call this out. Because we're working within a project, Claude already knows what Kowalah does, what our proposition is, and who our ideal customer profile is, which is CIOs and IT buying teams. What's your current time and resource bandwidth? Some channels are more resource intensive than others, so understanding your constraints will help me provide better recommendations. And do you have any initial customer relationships or industry connections that we could leverage as we think about these channels? So as I replied back, and I did this using a tool called Whisper Flow, which is where I just talk back to Kowalah. So this isn't me typing this is me just literally talking at my screen. We're starting with some search engine optimization, with some blog posts. We've written some targeting CIOs. Charlie's speaking at some speaking engagements, at some dinners, other people's events. We started doing some cold email outreach into CIOs. Time and resource bandwidth is not huge. It's just Charlie and Matilda, and we're also running lots of other activities. So we need to think about channels that require low investment in terms of cost and time. And in terms of customer relationships, we don't have any customers at the moment, so we can't build off customer referrals. So we're really at the start here. So thanks for the context. Gives me a clearer picture. Let's start with the first 5 channels. So affiliate marketing, if this was your only channel, and then it's going to provide us with some ideas. So identify some technology consultants, AI advisors, procurement specialists, create a simple referral program where they can recommend Kowalah, offer a compelling commission structure, provide these affiliates with some ready-made materials. And so as we were going through this exercise, this was really helping me to trigger some ideas. It wasn't necessarily that Claude was, blowing my mind. Oh my goodness, I'd never thought of that. But it was guiding me in some directions that maybe I'd not even thought of. And what I was then doing is then filling out the Traction template that I had. So for affiliate marketing, tech consultants, AI advisors, procurement specialists. Okay, getting me to think about who would be potential people to refer business into us. Offline ads, you could target certain magazines, existing platforms. You could get Kowalah onto AWS Marketplace or Azure. Offline events, you could host some small roundtable focused breakfasts for 5 to 8 CIOs on their AI procurement strategy. And this is where I'm thinking, this is really good ideas. This is exactly what we should be doing because people want to learn from other peers. We could co-host these events with complementary, non-competitive vendors. That's a good idea. Who would those be? Maybe people that are not in the procurement or buying space, but maybe they are helping people with, maybe they're the vendors of technology. We could create a CIO AI buying workshop that I could run at other conferences. So this could be a breakout session that I run at industry-specific conferences. That's a really good idea. Maybe we do a traveling roadshow where we go and visit 3 to 5 cities with high concentrations of target companies. Like that, we're going to be in this specific restaurant, come and meet us. So this is really getting my thinking going. And then offline events. So where were we? CIO roundtable breakfast, CIO buying workshop, travel roadshow, co-hosting with vendors. Okay, great. So we carried on through this. So those were the first 5. Do you want me to make any changes? No, that's great. Let's look at the next 5. Engineering as marketing, speaking engagements. And as we were going through each of these, we were getting into some really great discussion about each of these things because this is what I love about the Traction Bullseye. If this was your only channel, how would you do trade shows? Well, we're a startup. Rather than doing expensive booths, focus on speaking slots, set up one-to-one meetings before the conference starts. I mean, this is just like, brilliant 101 for running these trade shows. host a CIO dinner as a fringe event next to the major conference rather than spending money on the booth. This is just great advice coming from Claude, plus all of the knowledge that it's got about us. So we carried on. We spent a whole morning chatting to Claude and getting all of the insight on each of these. And so then we got to the end. So would you like me to summarize some additional recommendations on which channels might be most promising to prioritize? So then I said, yes. Now what I'd like to do is to prioritize 3 or 4 that we think are suitable for us to run as short-term tests over the next 3 to 4 weeks. Can you provide your recommendations with some reasons? So these were the recommendations from Claude. Engineering as marketing, so we can build something onto our website that showcases our expertise. We could create an AI procurement readiness assessment, for example. Some LinkedIn social ads, so we could target CIOs. We could do a small budget and test and iterate. Email marketing, you're already doing some small cold outreach, which could be optimized. And then a micro community. And then why these 4? Now, at the same time, we had gone through the same exercise and done this middle ring option where we'd gone through and had a thought about which ones we think are most suitable. Well, for example, a CIO roundtable dinners, great idea, but budget, and we've got to have people to invite. So maybe that is a good thing to do, second time around. The things that we decided would be great would be existing platforms. So are there existing tools that people are using that we could put Kowalah's knowledge and expertise into? Yes. Search engine optimization, we're already doing a little bit of this, but can we do some more programmatic SEO to help people that are searching for a specific industry, vendor, or category? Engineering as marketing, yes, building a tool for the website. Speaking engagements, 7 mistakes CIOs make when buying AI. We looked at content marketing, continuing to do more of this, specific guides and frameworks that we can push out. And then email marketing, high value newsletter for CIOs. So those were the ones that we thought were good ideas. And of course, we have got a bit more context than Claude has got. So basically, I said that. Thanks for your recommendations. Ours are slightly different. Here are the ones that we're thinking about. So agree with yours, right? Existing platforms. Why not build a custom GPT that shows your AI procurement expertise? SEO on book recommendations, easy, low effort, high value approach. Engineering as marketing, some free tools, and speaking engagements, leveraging my expertise, and a few of the other ones that Claude had suggested. Great. Can you summarize our workshop today and our recommendations into an artifact that we can add to the project? So what Claude immediately creates is we've been running the Traction Bullseye framework. This is the context. These are the channel analysis that we did. And these are recommendations, ChatGPT, AI book recommendations, engineering as marketing, speaking engagements, and then a testing approach. So this is how we could test them. And then next steps, week 1 to 2, create a custom GPT and an AI book recommendations page. Week 3 to 4, develop a first version of one of the engineering and marketing tools. Week 3 to 4, begin podcast outreach program. 5 to 6, launch a newsletter and outline email course. And so this is exactly the path that we are following on our weekends when we're building out these tools. So what have we done over the 3 weeks since we ran that? So number 1, we have launched a custom GPT for Kowalah, which we called Kowalah Preview. It's a GPT that is trained on the core of the Kowalah expertise around selecting, deploying, running a change program for AI tools. And any CIO can come in here and, for example, say, help me plan an AI change program. So this is free to access. Anyone can get hold of it from within their own ChatGPT. They don't need to have a license to Kowalah. And so we're using this as a way of doing direct outreach to customers now. Second, we built a recommended books for AI and software procurement reading. So here we go, kowalah.com/resources/recommended books AI. This will rank really well for SEO because people are searching for recommended books for AI. And so in each of these books, We've got a lovely review of why people should read the book. All of this has been generated separately using Claude with AI, a summary, key learning points, key images by the end of the book, and an author summary. So that's all come out of that. And then week 3, we were just building this at the weekend. We built an AI change enablement planner, which is yet to go live into the actual website. But depending on the number of employees that you've got, we will determine the cost, both internal and external, for running your AI change program. And it's going to dynamically build you a Gantt chart showing all of the different work streams for your AI rollout, and then some next steps. So this is engineering as marketing. We've got a few tweaks to make to get the numbers exactly correct, but this will be a super useful tool for us to put on the website, and very, very shareable. So there we go. That is a little bit of insight into how we used Claude to run a workshop for us and to help guide our thinking using the core frameworks from a book that we know and love. Hopefully that gives you some ideas on how to use AI as a coach, as a mentor, and to really accelerate your thinking.